Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's edition of Grassroots, the program that looks into the issues and answers of the area in which we live. Grassroots is hosted by lawyer, columnist, and businessman Tom Corrington. Grassroots is a presentation of P-Head Productions, produced by Jim Fuller, with associate producer Philip Scoggins, associate director Tom Corrington, and sound director Bob Payne. So sit back, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy today's edition of Grassroots.
Greetings, folks, and welcome. The spring season is one for blooms, and not only are the plants blooming, but also the election season. And this is the second of a series of shows we'll be doing until July on dealing with candidates. We've talked to the candidates for the Coffee County School Board, and this week we have the candidates for Alderman for the city of Manchester. There are 4 candidates and 2 seats, so somebody won't get there. We have with us today, beginning on my left, we have Roxanne Patton, and next to her in the middle is Joshua Moore, and on the end is Chris Robinson. Chris, you may recognize as the incumbent, so he is running for re-election. That means there is one incumbent who is not seeking re-election, so that one's an open seat. And I think I'm correct that, like Tullahoma, Manchester votes on a citywide basis. You're not divided into districts, right?
No, it's at large. It's citywide.
It's at large, right. So the top 2 voters out of 4 are going to be elected. So the 4th one, by the way, is Donnie Thomas, and Donnie is out of town on official business, and so we'll grant him a valid excuse for not being here. So thanks for taking time to join us and share your views with the public, and let's begin. I usually start off by giving the candidates an opportunity to tell the folks why they're running and why they think they should be the one to be elected. So let's begin with Roxanne.
Thank you. Well, since there was a vacant seat, I thought, well, I'd give it a shot, and I think that I could do a good job as alderman because I've always been in Manchester my whole life. I have been in county government for almost 6 years. I know who to, where to go for almost any information that we'd probably need.
You know your way around.
Yeah. I know who to talk to and where they are.
How
I want to make a difference.
How about experience, qualifications, kinds of things?
Well, like I said, I've been at the county for almost 6 years.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a very good communicator. I work with people well, and I could work with the other aldermen and the mayor as well. Pretty good.
Okay. All right. Josh, how about you?
Thank you. I believe very strongly in public service. To serve a cause greater than oneself is something I believe very strongly in. And with a business background, being self-employed is all I've ever done. And government and business aren't quite the same, but I feel the principles behind both share a lot of valid comparison.
What is your business, Josh?
I'm in the investment business, predominantly real estate. So my business is people, every day. And just from the basic structure of a municipality versus a business, it's always been my belief that your taxpayer is in effect your stockholder. They are investing in the community. Your board of aldermen serve as your board of directors, and your mayor is your CEO. So the structure is very similar. And I'm running to try and make sure that the citizens, the shareholders, are getting the most value for their tax dollar.
Okay. Well, Chris, you've already, how many terms is this?
This is my first term. This is the end of my first term.
You're now at the end of your first term.
Yes, sir.
So you're running for the second
Yes,
term.
sir.
You have 3-year terms also,
Yes.
Manchester? Okay. Does your mayor go for 4?
The
Yes.
mayor is 4, yes.
And in Tullahoma, they're trying to equalize those. They're trying to put the alderman on a 4-year cycle.
I think Manchester's toying with that idea also to try to make the elections in even years so that we can not have to have an election every year and save a little bit of money.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us why you're running and why you think you ought to be reelected.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the people of Manchester. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you for the past 3 years and hear your concerns and fight for what you're telling me to fight for. I've been a member of the Finance Committee for 2 of those 3 years, the Safety Committee for 2 of those 3 years. During that time, when I came into office, one of the big things I saw was we had a very large property tax rate in the state of Tennessee. One of the first things I wanted to see was us reduce that, and we did by passing the 3/4 sales tax increase. So with that, we were able to reduce, and then with the reevaluation, we were able to reduce further. I think 35 cents we've reduced in the 3 years that I've been on the board. You know, everywhere you look, cost of living is going up, gas is going up, groceries is going up. You're being asked to tighten your belt everywhere you look, and you shouldn't have to. Government shouldn't turn to you and ask you to tighten your belt. We should tighten our belt, and we shouldn't be asking for more money out of your pocket with everything else going up.
You don't think the cost of government's going up along with everything else?
The cost of government is going up, but as long as we plan and we look 5, 10, 15, 20 years out, and we have a plan in place to counteract the costs going up, and we keep things to a minimum and operate more efficiently, then we can do it at a minimal impact to the taxpayer.
Well, you just said a magic word. Does Manchester have a 5, 10, 15-year plan?
We recently had a retreat where the departments got together with their 5-year goals. I would call it more of a goal than a plan because they asked for what they wanted, but there was no what's the benefit to the taxpayer. So I would say that's their wants, and it's our job on the board of mayor and aldermen to decide what they really need and what we need to move forward.
That retreat was with who?
The board of mayor and aldermen got together in February, and with the department heads, and they came in and said, this is what we're looking to ask from you in the next 5 years. We did this under former Mayor Brown and accomplished most of the things on the list that we identified as priorities. So it's important to do that and do it every year so that you can evaluate where you are in your plan.
Right. All right. Very good. Okay. Let me ask you. By the way, you said another magic word. You've been reducing taxes. You get the impression that Manchester's sort of flush. How in the world does that happen? That you got more money than you need?
Well, I think, one of the big things, Bonnaroo is definitely a help. Anytime 150,000 people come into your town and spend their money and you get to keep the tax dollars from it, that's a big boom.
Sure
I think that's a big key. But we've also been developing our retail economy. More people are shopping at home, keeping more of those valuable tax dollars at home. So instead of coming to Tullahoma or driving to Murfreesboro, they actually have choices in Manchester now, so we're keeping those. Plus, our growth, housing has been booming. It's a bit of a slowdown now, but that's been a key factor. Our town's been growing, so that's been bringing more people into the tax base.
Okay, very good. Well, let's begin with what you see as the biggest, however you want to describe it, the biggest challenges, the biggest opportunities, the biggest problems that are facing Manchester. And Josh, let's begin with you.
I wouldn't call it a problem, but it is an issue that is of concern to me, and that is I would like to see us make every attempt possible to try to draw in businesses, to